All right, guys, what's going on?
Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Hello.
Are we on?
Dude, it's kind of sad. No one here's bougie. No one here has AirPods in.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not that cool.
I left
Yeah.
my
Well, Max, you were gonna get
AirPods
the knockoff brand. I thought is what you said.
I do have.
I've been
knockoff.
tempted.
They're called Air Vibes. You get them at Dave and Buster's. I do have
Oh
them.
my God. How many
Dave
tickets
and
was that?
Buster's? Jesus Christ.
2,500. Not a bad
Oh
deal.
my God, what?
They're very cheap.
I feel like that's still a lot of tickets.
So anyway, we'll have an intro to the show every time. Just talk about like everything we've seen and listened to over the past week. And then we'll hop right into our segments, which are just going to be music, TV shows, movies. We'll end with movies every time. And then during our conclusion, we'll just kind of go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing the next week and what we'll talk about the week after this. If that works for you guys.
Works for me.
All right, awesome. So let's hop right into it. First topic is the Avengers preview. So what did everyone think of it? Max is getting pretty hyped there.
I think I wrote in my notes like seeing Jesus is now.
I saw that. Yeah.
This special look specifically, I thought was like. I mean, obviously, all the other trailers have sold me. Even just the idea of just another Avengers film sold me. But this special look, I mean. It's awesome. It's everything I want. It really took me from a 10 to an 11, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. My whole thing is I want no more footage. Like I'm good now. Like, I've been good, but like I don't want to see anymore. And they're fucking with us. Like, most of the footage isn't real.
It's probably not even in the movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because
I talked to Max about it too, and I was like, even if they don't do a trailer, I'm cool. Like, I would have been perfectly okay, no trailer, no footage, no anything.
Exactly.
But if they drop it, I'm gonna watch it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I know Marvel was planning like a big thing with their marketing, and I think the Russo brothers discussed no trailers at all. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the footage you see in the trailer is either extra that's deleted or I wouldn't be surprised if there's still just something up their sleeve that, because there was a huge speculation that there was going to be either no trailer or there were going to be something just completely different from what they've done before regarding marketing. Yeah. So they could still be doing that. We just don't really know yet until we see it.
It's no trailer in quotations. Like none of it's real, but they're just giving us something.
Which could very well be.
Yeah.
Expect the fake footage.
I saw some people complaining. They were like, Tony Stark's like interacting with people like, oh, so they're spoiling he survives. I'm like, you really thought he was
you thought he was going to die there? Are you serious?
Like, come on. One of the things I was reading, did you guys see the thing about how they thought the Captain America was like the Captain America from Winter Soldier that he was talking to?
Yeah, I would like to touch on that, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't read any of the theory stuff because I just think it's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed from this trailer, based on the background, it definitely seems like they're in the setting of the first Avengers film. Definitely. Based on...
When they're talking.
When they're talking and they're on the street. And two, I think the background... It looks like the background that Tony's in when he looks at the picture of him and Peter... It looks like the bar setting when he's talking to Loki about, we have a Hulk. That looks like the same background. I could be wrong, though, but they're definitely going back in time. That's definitely – I mean, I don't know what else they could do. So I'm assuming that they're going back in time just right to where it all started. But, he is wearing the Winter Soldier outfit, it looks like.
Yeah.
I wonder why they would get him from that one specifically.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, even though it is like the best MCU movie. So.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't want to go.
I'm with you on that. That
movie's
so
I love Winter Soldier.
I thought it was my favorite until Infinity War.
And then just real quick, the other thing from the trailer I wanted to cover. Did you guys see? Like people thought that was Thanos, like on the ground in front of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. That was fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like
he was,
all
like,
of them
way-
walking towards him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shot. And the music, the score, when it goes up, it's great.
Yeah.
And he looks, from what I follow, I think I know you follow Daniel RPK.
Yeah, I
Twitter.
like that dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. I think he was the one who pointed out he looks almost like upset or
Yeah.
troubled. So he's either feeling bad about what he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's going on there.
Well, and there is a theory that like Thanos is the actual one that like regrets what he did and like actually is the one. But I there's so
I
many.
kind of hope they don't. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
That's such a cop out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised, as it's somewhat set up in Infinity War, where he says everything because he's talking to Gamora, and you can tell, when he, spoiler alert, when he sacrificed Gamora, was very resentful about doing it. So, but it's like one of those things where they've shown a lot. You're right, Luke. But at the end of the day, it's like I still don't know what it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
What's gonna go on?
And we saw like 4 minutes of footage. Like they showed a lot, but they probably showed nothing.
I was very excited when one of the Russos said that all of the footage they've shown is just from the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, well, we talked about that too. Me and Max talked about that. I don't think that's true, but even the fact that they're saying that is still like kind of cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they're seeing Thanos the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
was
doubt
about
it.
To say, if it is true, a lot's going on in the first 30.
Yeah. Well, something I want to talk about, we don't have to talk about it tonight, just but like in later weeks right before is I really think there's got to be like another villain in it besides Thanos. And like there's no hints at who it's going to be like at all.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That could be a big, like reveal in that.
What if they're like, they go back and convince Thanos from 2012, like, hey man, you did this and it was so bad. They get that Thanos to fight the other Thanos.
And then like Silver Surfer shows up and there's all these
the Fantastic Four from 2015. Avengers shut this down.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, we'll cover more on Endgame, like of course, like when it comes sooner. There's so much fucking cover on that. But next, something I loved, the Joker preview.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this movie. I think it's going to be awesome. Something that stuck out to me right away in the preview was like the cinematography, like some of the shots they got. I know a lot of people are comparing it to like Taxi Driver and stuff. But some of the shots they got were so cool of him just like walking up and down the streets and stuff. I initially had, the stuff with his mom seems like some psycho type shit. Like, that seemed, did you guys like see that too?
Yeah, where he's like dancing with her or whatever.
I hope that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you have someone as iconic as the Joker, known for just being absolutely insane, an origin story going back to his past with, say his mother or his childhood, you'd really have to really explore and see where this guy came from. That's why I think it would work pretty well. My only concern, though, is really just Todd Phillips. I mean, it's an interesting choice, a very interesting one, especially because it's not this all-out goofy fest, not like a Hangover or Old School. It very much almost at times feels like an indie film, which is interesting. And I have not seen War Dogs, and I think that's as close to maybe as a serious film that he's done. And
it's not at all. It's not serious.
It's not
at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay, but that to me was my idea of what maybe as close as it gets to him doing more of a more serious film compared to
he's tackling something else for sure. He definitely hasn't done anything like this before.
And I know I remember reading an article about a year ago, like Scorsese mentored him before this film a little bit, which gives me a lot of confidence, which is why they said there's a lot of like inspiration from the King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. I know Todd Phillips is supposed to be like a very dark person in real life.
That's what I've heard. That's
like
such an interesting
one
choice.
of did you guys see Molly's Game?
Yes.
No, I want to.
One of like the characters in that is based on him because he was part of that underground poker
Really?
stuff. Yeah,
That's kind of cool, actually.
I think he's like a pretty big partier. Like he's a pretty dark person. I think, there's part of it that's like you could be worried, but part of it's like, you know what, he's never done a movie like this, maybe. But I've seen some of the complaints I've seen. I was talking to someone about it, and they said that like the origin of the Joker like ruins the Joker. But like one of the biggest comic books of all time is Killing Joke, and that's literally like an origin of Joker. So I don't really agree with that.
It could turn out. I just hope that I hope it's what DC has been trying to do, but they do it successfully, where like you make the film dark, you make it small, you make it indie, you make it a character piece, and you beat the shit out of this character.
Yeah.
Because like I want to, because at the end of the day, when I walk out, I want to feel bad for this guy, but also be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? But in order to do that, you really have to kick the shit out of him. And like, don't pull punches, don't do the cheesy shit. Like, just kick his ass, make it dark.
I mean,
like,
it's rated R. Like, use your R rating.
Okay, exactly.
Oh,
like, don't
that's
do any. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys? So the overvoice with Thomas Wayne. Did you guys like see the irony there when he's like, "What kind of coward like fights people in a mask or whatever?"
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. Because obviously,
I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah, because that's him talking in the background, which apparently he's going to be based on like Donald Trump. Was the Todd Phillips said his goal for that was. So apparently he's this big outspoken leader in the city.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. And then apparently the kid who like the Joker forces to smile is young Bruce Wayne in this universe.
I'm sure that nobody knows, like, for sure, but I mean, you can draw
so if you go to that kid's IMDb page, it says like Bruce Wayne and Joker.
Really?
So that's
what is the age difference?
Yeah.
I mean, that kid looked like he was like 5, So
yeah.
I hope that they don't. I don't know.
It's
Joker and Batman.
Which part of me is like, okay, Joker and Batman are such a thing, but I guess maybe they're just really trying to reinforce that this is Joker's movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was nervous about. Even I was thinking about that on the drive home. I was like, I really hope that DC's had a problem with getting distracted, where it's not like your central movie and you get distracted by all these side plots. Like, even if you're going to do side plots, which they have to be in a movie, but you need to focus on Joaquin Phoenix, make it focused on him, and I think it'd be much better.
Yeah.
I think the movie would even be fine if it's just a performance film, a character film.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
That's what I hope it is. Because Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, let's be honest, like he's amazing.
He's the guy for it, yeah.
Yeah. I said the same thing about Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Don't know that one.
Well, never mind. Maybe that's
it
won't be like that though. I mean, there was so many signs too. I mean, he had damaged written on his forehead. I mean, it won't be that. It won't be like that.
But. Yeah. But yeah, we can move on here. All right, so let's go to Captain Marvel. Let's debate this a little bit. I know Max is a stan of Captain Marvel, so
yes, I stan Captain Marvel.
So I guess I'll start off here. Like, my biggest complaint was just, I understand the whole feminism thing. I understand, it's a female superhero, but it was so forced in Captain Marvel compared to something like Wonder Woman, where it was just natural. Like the trench scene in Wonder Woman where she walks out in the middle of the field, like that's so badass. But like a movie like Captain Marvel where, every line is a line of like feminism dialogue. I'm like, come on here,
And I agree with you. I mean, with Wonder Woman, as close as it gets is calling the place no man's land. And that's like pretty much as close as it gets, as from what I can remember. But in Captain Marvel, see, my problem, especially with screenwriting, is if you can't get your message across, if you have to explicitly state the problem in your, like when he says, "Oh, it's called cockpit for a reason," like you have to explicitly state your problem. That's not good screenwriting. And I completely agree with you there. Your message should be felt based on the audience's thought. So, they went they went a little far at times. I will give you that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I just, I love Brie Larson. Like, I think she's great
I
for
do
the role. I just don't think the script did her any justice there. I don't know.
Most of the critics I follow pretty much said that she did bad in the role. I would not go that far.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably inconsistent most of the times, because sometimes it's like she comes across as like almost this not emotional, like emotionless, curious
Mm-hmm.
person, and then all of a sudden she'll be somewhat witty. Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of goes back and forth, and it doesn't really meet that consistent performance. And I wouldn't go as far to say it was bad,
Yeah.
but I thought she did a good job. I honestly thought, it was inconsistent, but I enjoyed her in the role. And I think,
but that wouldn't be as much her fault as it would be writing. If like if what she's saying is inconsistent,
Mm-hmm.
then that's not like, oh, she's bad at acting or she did a bad job. It's just like what she is saying is just she's back and forth because the script is back and forth.
It could be they gave the two directors, Ryan Fleck, I think, and then I forget the other one. But they let them write the screenplay too, which is interesting. Because like even with the Russo brothers, Christopher Mick something, that they like, it's not a writer director same thing. They have like different writers and different directors, so they let them do both, which is interesting. But I do think I agree that sometimes maybe the script just didn't really give her justice, and her dialogue. Because I mean, as an actor, you read the script and you go, okay, this is what she would do here. This is what she do here. I feel like the script didn't really give a clear image of that for her. Yeah. She's an Academy Award-winning actress. So
so she definitely can act. Yeah. Like that's not the problem.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Infinity War. You know, with her. Because at first I was like, God, I don't want to see her in Infinity War. I didn't like that movie, but I was like, you know what? Maybe with new writing, like, it'll be
let's just see
better.
how she is in that movie. I don't know how she'll be portrayed.
Yeah,
but obviously in Infinity War, the first one, all the characters don't act the same as they do in the movies, and nobody had a huge problem with that. Like some of them say things and make choices that aren't like the character.
Yeah.
So maybe she'll just be a little bit different with better writing. I'm not sure.
But, and I mean, like, the first two Thor movies, in my opinion, were horrible.
I was just
I didn't like those at all.
I mean, it just shows like Chris Hemsworth's a good actor, and when he got the right director, like that movie was amazing. You know,
and they completely changed that character.
When I first saw the first Thor movie, I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, I hated it. I did not like his character at all, and I thought the movie was bad. Watching it with repeating viewings, it's not as bad as I thought. They're not really great. They're definitely like the weakest, but like she's signed on for 7 movies. There's plenty of room to grow. So if Chris Hemsworth they give Chris Hemsworth, good material. They give Brie Larson good material.
I liked how they set up for a possible sequel. Like her sequel could be with her and like the Skrulls and the Kree and stuff without involving, anyone else, which I think is cool. Which, by the way, I love Ben Mendelsohn in that.
He was great.
He was
awesome. He was good.
He was funny. He's always
he's
good.
like the Disney villain guy,
He is.
He is.
He's played so many villains because he was just in this past year. He was in Robin Hood, Captain Marvel. He was in something else, and then which I didn't see. Robin.
He was in Rogue One.
Rogue One,
he was.
Have you guys? This is part of the TV show session, but have you guys ever watched Bloodline?
No.
With him and Kyle Chandler from like Wolf of Wall Street.
I love Kyle Chandler.
Good. It's really good. He's like the black sheep of their family who like comes home and, like causes all these problems. Kyle Chandler's like his brother. Yeah, it's one of those shows where first season's amazing and the last 2 seasons are horrible.
Typical TV.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Captain Marvel by anyone here?
Just to me, so Marvel's pretty much nailed the formula. I mean, all the movies have that same tone, that same enjoyment.
Yeah.
And to me, I felt the same as I did with every other one. Yeah, it has its problems, but I just left enjoying it just as much as the other ones to me.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. I guess part of me is just like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Captain Marvel are kind of the last two Marvel movies. Like if this is where Marvel's headed after Endgame, it's a little nervous,
And I'll get into that when we talk about DC in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, we can move on here. So Us, a movie, I liked. I think Nolan kind of felt indifferent about. Max didn't like.
Yeah.
Um,
To be fair, I've only seen it once, so I haven't had my second viewing.
yeah, I've seen it once as well. Yeah. Basically, my whole thing is some of the complaints about it were like it didn't answer all the questions. I'm like, okay, well, like go watch The Shining. Like The Shining doesn't answer all the questions.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had that complaint.
Yeah. So what would you say you like really didn't like about it?
My biggest problem was easily the tonal inconsistencies throughout, because he would suck me in with the horror. It would be so damn good. I was like, okay, this is creepy. This is awesome. And then all of a sudden he would kind of undercut it with either a joke or like some sort of like off-putting situation. Like off the top of my head, like the car scene, like when he's like, oh, no, I'm driving. I killed 3 of them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you're blowing it, man. And look at, for instance, remember Winston Duke trying to do the like brainless, like intimidating noises and stuff?
Let's just go ahead and say spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers. And then you imagine Tim Heidecker doing it, and I was like, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
Tim Heidecker is not intimidating in the slightest. He's just this dry comedian.
Yeah. Something that like really stuck out to me. Sometimes I think about this movie is like I kind of mentioned it to my girlfriend a little bit, but I was like, so I didn't really mind the tone, the switching the tones and stuff. But like, is this comedy gonna hold up? Because you think about it, he like dabs at the beginning. Like in 30 years, people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?" Like.
But that stuff was fine. The beginning of the movie, like setting it all up, was fine.
Yeah,
but it's just when you go too far.
Yeah,
I did one movie, one dab, and that's it. One dab. After that, it's enough.
But then, like the Amazon Alexa joke, I just like, is this humor gonna hold up in like 15 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be one of those things where I think in like 15 years, people aren't really gonna like. And I kind of thought that about Get Out too. Like some of the jokes in Get Out, were like Bradley Whitford's like, "Oh, I would have voted like for Obama for 3rd term."
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's very like contemporary jokes, but like I don't know if it would hold up.
I can see the Obama one holding up because he's the president. I mean, it's like you make a George Washington joke. I mean, if there's a George Washington joke, you still get it because it's just history. And technically, the Alexa is technological history, but I mean, it's gonna probably be outdated. And I completely forgot about those scenes. I didn't like that either.
Yeah, just because I just feel like in some time that's not gonna hold up. But I did. I mean, even if you didn't like it, like I thought it was an entertaining movie.
It was at times.
Yeah.
That's what was so frustrating.
Because I told Max that too. I was like, regardless of whether you like it or just even the tonal inconsistencies, whatever, I still think it's a good movie. Just in general, I think it's a good movie. It's shot well, it's acted well, blah blah blah. And there's scenes at the end, like when she's fighting herself. That's the best scene in the movie, and they play the song from the trailer. It's amazing.
Music's awesome.
But it's like there's that, and then there's the Alexa scene. And then it's like I'm so torn because I love parts of it and I don't like other parts of it. And then the message, whether it's there, whether it's not there, I just don't know if I'm stretching, if I'm not stretching. Like in Get Out, it was very clear.
Yeah.
And it's not that like I need it to be spoon fed to me, but the fact that he's so all over the place and just the tone and then the themes is like, I just don't know what you're going for anymore, man. Like I'm so lost. And I don't want to start just drawing conclusions like, oh, he's this genius. He means this. He means that. I just don't know anymore.
So I think the reason I liked it is because I kind of looked at it as just like a superficial popcorn movie, which I mean, like no disrespect to Jordan Peele there, but I just, based on the previews, I was just like, okay, like it's an entertaining movie. I know a lot of my friends who didn't like it were just really trying to overthink like the themes and stuff. And I just don't know if there's that much to think about there. I know I looked up afterwards, Hands Across America was like movement to get like homeless people homes. So I don't really know if that had anything to do with the plot of Us. I like started to think about it and I was
I
like,
don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's themes or like I guess my like what the hell was he trying to say maybe added on to my frustration, but you take out the messages completely and still I just had problems because he even tweeted out, he's like, Us is a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's partly right because it feels more like a horror comedy. But like that's what was so frustrating to me. Is like, yes, your horror is so good when you want it to be a horror movie, but then when you make a comedy movie, it just kind of blows it.
Yeah, like the scene where they're in the house and like the people are trying to get in. I'm like, this is scary as shit right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be more self-contained. I think I just had this idea of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they could fix a lot of this in a sequel. And in all honesty, I don't want to see a sequel.
No.
This is not a franchise.
He doesn't strike me as that kind of director.
I hope not, and Lupita Nyong'o was badass in it.
Oh hell yeah!
She was great.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. And then the last thing, just like, dude, the sun knows. Like the sun was just like, fuck this.
That was the point. I saw that. I was talking to a friend and he was like, "Oh, it blew my mind. I didn't see that." And I was like, "I've seen a movie before. Like I saw that coming right from the beginning when they didn't show what happened right after."
Yeah, that's what a lot of my friends like I talk to who like don't watch a lot of movies and are kind of more like on the surface, or we're like, that was crazy.
Even then, it's like
I wish they wouldn't have shown it though. Like, if they didn't show it, I would have liked it better.
Yeah, because then it's kind of up to you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a way, it's like she's still your mom. It's not like they were switched at birth, but it's not like she's not your mom. She's still your mom. So I don't know. He gives her like this stank eye, and it's like, hey, this is fine.
But what was the point of it besides like just trying to be clever?
Like, because I was not gonna do it.
But I didn't know what's the point of doing it? Is it just like to be clever? Because there's no message there. I don't feel like you're just trying to be. So that's why I would have preferred you just not show it at all. Like that.
Yeah,
that it's
and then
confirmed.
It's just
if you're gonna make it just as an entertaining like whatever, then don't show it.
Well, and I kind of figured once, because she was the only, what do they call it, untethered or whatever?
Yeah.
She was the only tethered or whatever who could speak English. Like the other ones just made noises. And I'm like, why can she speak English, but the rest of them can't? And something was going on with the what?
I think all the dum-dums would have been disappointed if there was no twist. Like, obviously, all the dum-dums you go to this movie are like, whoa, didn't see that coming. So they probably would have been like, whoa, there's no twist.
Joy Keel's a genius.
I mean, just to like wrap it up, I think it's a good movie. Like, I don't think it should win any Oscars or anything. Lupita Nyong'o was the best in it.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts on that?
I thought it was good at parts, but I think when it really got bad at parts, like it's not even that the comedy was bad. It was just so like, no, don't go there.
Misplaced.
Yeah, misplaced, exactly. So yeah, that's my final thought.
Makes sense. All right. You guys want to move on to like some music here?
Let's do it.
All right, awesome. So we can go ahead and talk about some of our favorite artists. Nolan, if you want to go first there.
Oh Jesus, I was hoping to go last because I'm not a big and I'm not a big artist guy either. Because I was going through my head trying to think of like artists that I like. Because I'm a band
like genres.
Guy.
Okay,
yeah. I don't listen to like new music.
Well, you can name bands and stuff too. Yeah.
And I was gonna say like anything that's like old, and I've been through this with Max before. Like I'm a Linkin Park guy, I'm a Chili Peppers guy, I'm a Nickelback guy. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. But yeah, I like the old stuff. Yeah, shit, my bad. How long into it are we? But yeah, I definitely like bands more than I would say like artists nowadays. But definitely like Linkin Park, Chili Peppers, Goo Goo Dolls, Nickelback, anything that's like that. Just like a little bit older music, like right 2000s or right before the 2000s is kind of where I'm at with stuff like that.
Yeah, I think stuff like that's kind of funny because, like that's like right when we were growing up. Like, do you think you kind of have like nostalgia there? Like,
yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Like and that's something like my dad, he loved Linkin Park, Nickelback, like all that stuff. And so that's like, when I started listening to music and it was something that we listened to in the car, that's the stuff that I listened to. I wasn't like with my friends like, oh, dude, this new Drake song is so cool. Yeah. I was with my dad and we're burning CDs from LimeWire listening to Nickelback. Dude, like that's what my childhood was.
Yeah. That's funny because like I recently started listening to like Led Zeppelin and stuff, and I never really listened to them before. And I'm like, fuck, I know a lot of the words to these songs because like my dad would always just play Led Zeppelin, you know, when we were in like the car together and stuff.
But that's so interesting because people are always, wait, what songs do they do? And then I'll play a song by Creed or by and they know it, but they just don't know that they know it.
Yeah. What about you, Max?
So yeah, I was just looking at my Spotify real quick of just like maybe to get an idea of just the name more than my number one easily. My number one is Tovlo, and people give me shit for that all the time. But for the music that I listen to, like dark pop, hers is just the best by far, in my opinion. So based on the genre I like, she's the best to me. And her music, there's not a single song of hers that I don't like.
She's good. No, she's very talented. I think
she's got a great voice. She's amazing live.
Yeah.
She's definitely my favorite.
Unique.
She's definitely unique. That's for sure. But then in close follow-ups, I love The Weeknd, BB Rexa, Kanye. Obviously, I feel like I can understand you don't like Kanye, but you like his music.
Yeah.
So those are definitely probably my top.
Yeah. So I mean, my favorite artist, like far and ahead, will always be Kanye. I would die on that hill supporting him because I mean,
I just imagine you.
Dude, Max and I were talking about like arguing in class and stuff, and I'm like, I never argue in class, but like when Kanye comes up in class, like I'll fuck. Dude, some kid was arguing with me last semester about how Kanye stole all the beats off College Dropout. I was like, dude, Kanye was living in an apartment with his mom during College Dropout. Like, who would he even steal the beats from? But I mean, like, I've read a lot on Kanye, and I understand, like, people don't like him. But I really think his ideologies are, like, very, like, ahead of the time. The way he, like, presents it isn't good.
Yeah.
You know?
He's really one of the best presenters when it comes to music. I mean, the way he puts everything together it is brilliant.
Yeah.
And there's no need for people to tear him down. I mean, he does it to himself, to be honest. Like,
he can take care of that.
His own reputation. Yeah. So there's no need for people to hate on him for stupid reasons like that. But yeah, his presentation of music is brilliant. Like My Dark Twisted Fantasy or whatever it is.
And I mean, I love him because I really think he is like an artist in every sense of the word.
Oh yeah.
Like everything he does is art. He puts so much time into it. And I've read about some artists like hate working with him just because like it's so much time in like the studio and stuff. But yeah, Kanye's the best. I'd say U2 is probably like second for me.
U2's good.
And the Killers.
I forgot about them. Yeah,
Bono's awesome. Bono's super cool.
I don't care what anybody says. That guy is awesome.
Dude, that dude knows like 5 languages. Like he's all about like world peace and everything. Like he's best friends with Kendrick Lamar. Like he's a 6-year-old white guy who just hangs out with Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, that dude's got to be cool.
And they were awesome.
What'd you say?
I saw U2 at Lucas Oil, and they were.
Oh yeah. My dad was at that concert because he loves U2, and
it was great.
He said they Sunday Bloody Sunday was like amazing, live. But I love U2. The Killers are pretty far up there for me.
Yeah, I know.
I totally forgot about them.
I would if you haven't, I would highly recommend their new stuff. They're one of those few bands I really like. They haven't sold out, they've kind of stuck to like experimental like sounds and stuff, like what they want to do. I was a really big Ed Sheeran guy, and I really think he's like sold out lately. Like he's just started doing pop and like all this stuff. I think so, because I really liked his old stuff like Lego House and like 18 and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but his new stuff's catchy, but like it's not.
I love I know what was it? Pitchfork gave Divide just an awful review or something like that. I think that's a little unfair. I mean, the man put 2 songs out there that got 1 billion streams. I mean, that's got some merit right there.
I think he's very talented, and I'm like, if I was an artist too, and it was do I want to do the music I want to do, or do I want to do the music that sells more money? It's.
Do you think that's what he went through?
That's what I think he went for that a little bit.
I'm sure you can get stuck for sure. Kind of in the middle.
And I think you've seen that with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about music wise? I'm looking forward to Yandhi if it's ever gonna drop. I know Max put that.
What happened to that? It was
Dude, I
supposed to
don't
be on the
know.
Black Friday
You never
last
know
year.
with him. I don't know.
But
He is gonna be at Coachella, so it's like maybe Kanye will pull a Kanye, and after Coachella, he'll be like, "Hey, here's the new album." You know.
But like going back to what you said, like he's a presenter, he's an artist. If
Mhm.
he says, "Hey, this isn't ready yet," I
Yeah,
believe
it's not ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I didn't really
But
have
I'm
a
sure he
problem with
knows
it.
exactly what he's doing, even if it is ready. Like he knows what
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
doing.
Well, and he did. Did you guys see he like took all the artists and paid for them to all go to Africa for like a few weeks, and they re-recorded the entire album in Africa because he
That's
said he
awesome.
wanted it to have like an authentic feel. So I'm like,
That's awesome.
do whatever you got to do, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we can like move on to TV shows here.
Can I bring something up real quick? Do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
remember
go ahead.
when, it was like a viral video on Twitter when Ultralight Beam came out on The Life of Pablo.
On
and it was
Saturday
a
Night
video-
Live, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a video of Chance the Rapper, like,
Mhm.
hey, this was my verse I added that got cut. I don't think that should have been put in there. And to touch upon Kanye being a presenter, I think Kanye made the right move of cutting Chance's part out of that because
Yeah,
it kind of ruined it.
yeah. Chance did that interview where he like showed all those verses that Kanye cut
Yeah.
out. And he originally had the Chris Brown part in Waves, which Waves is like one of my favorite Kanye songs. And Chance should not have had that part. And I know he
Would
was
not
kind of
have liked
shitty
that
about
at
it,
all.
but like that was a singer part,
Yeah.
you know, like that wasn't a Chance the Rapper part.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do think, you know, with Kanye, you got to kind of just be like, oh, I'm going to go in, record my lines, and like whatever gets through, gets
And
through.
then he does,
you know?
let him have
Yeah,
it.
like just, you know,
Mhm.
make whatever you want. Because I mean, you know, people shit on some of his albums, but like I don't think he has a bad album. Like I know Life of Pablo is like everyone's least favorite, and I still think Life of
Really?
Pablo is like a masterpiece. Yeah.
I think the problem with The Life of Pablo was originally when he released it on, what was it? What's the Beyonce
Tidal.
Jay-Z Tidal?
Yeah.
It was not an album worth subscribing exclusively to Tidal for.
Yeah.
But the fact that now it's on everything, that's
Mhm.
what makes it fine. I mean, there are great songs on there. I wouldn't
Mhm.
say it's a bad album by any means.
There are, and I think that album was kind of just like Kanye like flexing on like his beats and stuff because
Yeah.
Kanye doesn't rap that
Yeah.
much on it. So I think Kanye was just like, hey, I had these beats and I brought these
Listen.
people into because like some of the
Well,
stuff is so
yeah.
crazy, you know. But yeah, I mean, you never know what he's gonna do. I think Yandhi will be amazing. Because I
I
mean,
hope.
and just like I mean, you look at like Ye that came out last summer, and like the references he made in that, like you could tell the album was just recorded in like the past week before he released it because
Mhm.
he talks about like TMZ and Stormy Daniels and like all of that stuff had happened in like the week and a half leading up to Ye's release. So he was definitely
Cover of the
work.
album, the cover of the album he took on his iPhone.
Yeah,
on
he
the
took
plane
it.
there
He
to
said he took it on his iPhone on his way to the release party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that just shows like I mean that's
It's a Kanye thing to
absolutely
do.
that's insane. Like the fact that you can make an album in 2 weeks with all these artists and just be
and they're
and
both
then you,
great.
and it's great. Yeah, it's a great album. Like, and it's So I trust anything he does and the stuff he really puts work into. It's like, I mean, the last time he put this much work into something was like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and like a lot of people think that's like the greatest rap album of all time. So
Yeah, I'd say
you know,
there's a strong argument.
yeah. So I think Yandhi will be great. I mean, if there's a solid chance it's never released. Like knowing Kanye, like I could see it seriously never reaching the public. But yeah, you never know. I mean, so we can move on to like TV shows here.
Yeah.
Max, you want to go first? Just talk about some of your favorite TV shows or episodes.
I mean, I'm just not going to say The Office. I mean, it's clearly my favorite. There's no competition, but it's everyone's favorite. And people are ruining that show, okay? All these
Dude, I agree. The memes about it, and like I'm like, just watch the show. Come on.
Like, okay, what the hell are you talking about? You don't have an evolved sense of humor because you don't find office scenarios funny. That's not evolved. That is the most basic humor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So these people are coming out like, what the hell are you talking about? But up in the Office, it's a brilliant show.
Yeah.
But True Detective, I love like crime shows.
Oh,
True
yeah.
Detective, love it. First and third season.
I haven't watched season
Stranger
3
Things.
yet. I'm excited.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, Silicon Valley, X-Files, Simpsons, South Park, and I would add on The Killing. I just finished that
Okay.
a month or two ago, and it was great. I thought just all around. So
Yeah. So my top one is The Office. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's my favorite show. I nonstop watch it. The last couple seasons absolutely suck. Robert California fucking blows. But yeah,
Right.
so I mean, The Office, everyone likes The Office. There's stuff to like in it. And I do think like there's, you see something new every time you watch it, which really just
Yeah.
adds to the my other have you guys ever seen Rescue Me? It just got
No.
added to Amazon Prime. I watched it like growing up and just started recently rewatching it. It is an amazing show.
Is that the Dennis Leary show?
It is. He writes, directs, and produces it and stars in
Really?
it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I never even heard of it until you said
It's
something.
so
The
it's
firefighter one, isn't it?
yeah, it's I'll just give a basic premise. He's this firefighter like suffering from like PTSD from 9/11. Like 4 of his best friends died in 9/11. He like still sees them and stuff. Like he has real bad PTSD. And he's like an extreme like alcoholic and stuff, like going through a divorce. But dude, it's a very good TV show. I watched it when I was like 9 and 10 with my dad when it came out. Probably shouldn't have been watching it. But a lot of the stuff flew over my head. Now because it just got added to Amazon, so I recently started rewatching it and I'm like, this is a really good show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely check that out. Lost is up there for me. Last season was horrible. But the first
Really?
few seasons have you guys watched Lost?
The only
I've never
episode I've
watched
ever
it.
seen is the last episode. When it
Really?
aired,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
horrible.
had no idea what was going
Yeah.
on.
So that's another one of those ones I watched when I was little. But just the whole thing with Lost, so the first 2 seasons, it's almost like a book, like how much you like care for the characters, because each character gets like multiple episodes that's entirely focused on their backstory and their present story. So it's like super interesting how they do that. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David is
My dad
awesome. I love
and
Curb.
I need to watch it. I love
Have you not
Seinfeld.
watched it?
Yeah, I mean, I love Seinfeld. There's really
Yeah.
no reason I should.
It's honestly just like an R-rated Seinfeld. Is like all it
That
is.
sounds amazing.
Yeah. What about you, Nolan? What are your favorites?
I'm gonna get grilled. The Office is not my favorite TV show. I apologize to everybody. Psych is my favorite TV show of all time. I think it's hilarious. That's one of those ones like The Office for most people. I can watch any episode. I can jump in anytime. I think it's hysterical. Every episode is a story on top of being a comedy, and I really enjoy that. It's like a mystery. I don't know if you guys even know what it is, but I think it's hysterical. I also really like, obviously, The Office would be on there. Seinfeld, like Max said. Even like for some newer ones, I just finished watching The Haunting of Hill House, and I thought that was amazing. That's probably my favorite show on Netflix right now, just in regards for like horror and just in general.
I just saw that the other day because I was when we were texting about the Shining sequel, I saw the guy that created that series is the one directing the Shining sequel.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Really, so I really like that. Daredevil is one of my favorites, and just like for comic book stuff in general. What else do I have on here? Other than that, I don't really watch too much TV. I guess the Twilight Zone, the original, is I really like, and I want to watch the new one, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But Twilight Zone and Psych are definitely the ones where like I can jump in, watch any episode, and just have a fun time. But Psych is definitely my favorite by far, without question.
Yeah.
And from all the people I know that have seen Haunting of Hill House or whatever it's called, that know me, they can't believe I haven't seen it. Neither can I. Like, it's
insane.
Right up my alley.
I can't believe you haven't watched it.
I know. I just haven't had the time to see it. It's like I want to really bad because horror is my favorite genre, and I'm sure it's amazing. But
don't watch it until you have time to watch it, because I started it at like 4 a.m, and then I watched 4 episodes and I was fucked the next day, because you'll just want to keep going. Like it's the end of every episode is just that good, and it's directed amazing. Like
Yeah.
not like any horror shit that's on there right now. Like Mike Flanagan is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He's good.
And we can go over like favorite episodes of shows next week and stuff if you guys want. Have you guys seen I almost put this on favorite shows, but there's only been one season. Have you guys watched Castle Rock, Stephen King series?
No, I haven't.
That has Jane Levy and Skarsgård, right?
Yeah, and Andre Holland. It is very good. It connects like 10 of Stephen King's stories. And there's season 1 ends with a post-credits scene. No spoilers, but it sets up for a very prominent Stephen King story.
Really?
Yeah, for season 2. It is so one of my favorite episodes is just like there's a lady in it who has dementia, and the whole episode's like shot in her point of view, and or she has Alzheimer's, and there's like different dimensions in it and stuff. Dude, it's super like trippy. Like you can't figure out if she's going from different dimensions or if she's just forgetting where she is. Because she's like what they call like a dimension hopper. It's insane. It has like a 9.6 on IMDb. That episode does. Like it's very highly rated.
It's an interesting premise. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd really recommend that show. It's really good.
I'm just glad Stephen King adaptations are finally getting like the care they deserve.
Dude, I know. Yeah, like he's such a good author, and for so long they made such shitty movies like about
just like a joke out of it, really.
Yeah, like I don't know, but I know because he commented on Castle Rock and really liked like where they took it and stuff.
Apparently he commented on Pet Cemetery too, and he
he said he really liked that.
I want to see it. I was gonna see it tonight if we didn't do this.
That was my plan. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. I saw he said too. He was the one because the director brought in like 6 different dudes for the role of who's the kid in The Shining. I forget his name, but anyway, so he's grown up in The Shining sequel or whatever. And Stephen King was like, "I want you to cast Ewan McGregor," so they like casted Ewan McGregor in it.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, cool. Which I love Ewan McGregor. Like he's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So,
he's great.
Yeah, I just watched the Christopher Robin movie, like the Winnie the Pooh movie.
Surprisingly mature. Like
I think it's on Netflix now.
Dude, it's kind of sad. Like,
it's very depressing.
Yeah, you're watching it and you're like, damn, like this is a sad movie. But I thought he was really good in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can move on to like movies now. So we'll start with Max. Max, what do you think the movies that mean the most to you are?
Obviously, these are the ones, from my childhood, the ones that impacted me to love film. So I think the number one for me has to be A Bronx Tale. I can't even tell you the amount of times I watched that VHS as a kid.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Still to this day, holds up so well. Because I know there's some movies that go, oh, I loved it when I was a kid. I watched it when I was
Yeah.
But this is the one that just it just hits, I love emotional movies.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. 'Cause that's what gets me attached. So, and obviously that's a big emotional movie.
I watched that over winter break for the first time, and I'm like, this is a very good movie. I'm like, I wish De Niro would direct more. Like, I feel like he'd be a great director.
A lot.
Yeah. I think he's only directed like 2 or 3 movies. So, whatever. But yeah.
And then Forrest Gump. I mean, it's a beautiful movie. I mean, it really is. Just it's just a great journey. Just it's one of those films. It's like, is there really like a set plot? No, it's more of a string of just events that this character just winds up in, and every single one of them is just so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then MCU movies. I mean, those are my life. I'm a fanboy. I'm a Marvel fanboy. Okay, everybody likes to point it out as if I don't know.
What about you, Nolan?
Because I was trying to go back to like ones that I watched way back when I was a kid or like something older that meant a lot to me. Definitely, It's a Wonderful Life. I've been watching that ever since
James
I can remember.
Stewart.
We would watch it all the time during Christmas. Great Christmas movie, but just good movie in general. Way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I really like that. Back to the Future was another one that my dad showed me at a really, really young age that I watched all the time. My first favorite movie was The Matrix. So that one's definitely on there. I love The Matrix. I think that's a perfect movie. I
I
don't
haven't
like the
seen that one
sequels
either.
much. But yeah, the
You haven't
Matrix
seen
is
those, Max?
amazing.
Ooh.
The only
I
one
don't know
I've
what
seen
you're
is
doing,
Back to the
man. You
Future.
haven't seen a lot.
There's a lot.
And
Like,
then obviously, obviously, like you said, the MCU is on there too. My love, my life, my soul. So, those would be mine.
my lord, my liege.
Yeah. Dude, you'll go and watch The Matrix and be like, I don't even want to live anymore.
Oh, dude, it's so
Really?
good. Keanu Reeves is so good.
Dude, it like convinces you that we're in a simulation. Like literally,
so
it's like, it's
The meme was
scary.
ahead of its time.
It kind of
It
is.
really
Like, if
is.
you go watch it, like, you know, all the memes about like simulations now and stuff, but like that's like what The Matrix is all about.
Yeah.
Like, is a
I'll have to check it
simulation.
out.
Yeah.
Even the way it's directed is ahead of its time. Like,
Yeah.
just there's fight scenes that are better than any fight scene I've seen in the last
Yeah,
year.
the
It's
slow
so good.
motion. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the one in
letters.
the tunnel when he fights Smith for the first time is so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I'd say, you know, the movies, I mean, I grew up with Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars. They could make the shittiest Star Wars movie ever, and I'd probably go see it 5 or 6 times.
Well, they already did.
Come on,
3
dude. Are
times.
you talking about Solo?
Yeah, 3 times
Solo's
over and over.
good.
But yeah, Star Wars to me is just like, I feel like it's great. I don't want to see them overdo it. But dude, this year's going to be brutal because basically the MCU, as we know, it's going to get wrapped up. And then, I mean, the Luke Skywalker saga is going to get wrapped up. And it's
Big
just
year.
like, yeah, it is. It's a brutal year. Going to have
Yeah.
to become an adult after this year.
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
But, and then 2 movies that I said, I watched these both over the course of a couple weeks, and I was like, damn, like movies are more than, you know, just like something to just like watch to pass the time. Was like Goodfellas, and then I saw The Godfather, and I watched the whole trilogy of that. And I'm like, these movies are like the acting, the directing, and those are the 2 movies that like really like got me into like wanting to like, you know, research movies and like watch movies like that I enjoy. Plus I love crime movies. And then in the past year I watched like Hitchcock and stuff, and Rear Window like is probably one of I loved that movie. I really like James Stewart. I think he reminds me a lot of like DiCaprio before DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Who is the actress in that? She is beautiful.
Yeah, I forget her name. She was really good in that too. But I mean, just like the golden age of Hollywood, like just all that's cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, we can. So we'll say, what do you guys want to say? Favorite actors till next week.
Yeah, sure. We could say.
We could say, yeah, we could say it.
So we'll finish here with.
You want to end with like a question?
Well, we'll talk. Do you guys want to talk about how you would fix the DCEU, and then what would you do about the new Batman? So, what would you do with the DCEU? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
You want to take it away?
Oh, I'm cutting out. Let Max go.
Okay. So I just saw Shazam tonight. I won't talk about it until Luke sees it. But to me, it's looking bright. Like, it's looking better. And I could see like an actual competition now between Marvel and DC in the future based on their movies. And I could see a possible shift DC too, because my problem is with Marvel, and it's not my problem. It's more of like the general audience's problem is. Looks like Captain Marvel is going to be the future of the MCU, and that's pretty much what's being heavily promoted right now. And Captain Marvel is pretty 50-50 with people right now. So if that's going to be the face, then it's going to be like, you're going to start tearing people away. Yeah. But with DC, I mean, Aquaman, I mean, who the hell would ever imagine Aquaman would make $1 billion? Who? It's Aquaman. But Jason Momoa just plays his version of Aquaman so well that I'm not surprised, you know? Yeah. And it's so grand. It's like it's just the biggest, grandest CGI thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, like in your face, but like they're about it. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Nolan?
I'm kind of with Max. They're at a spot right now where they've struck a couple chords really, really well. because Gal Gadot's a good Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa is a good Aquaman, and Zachary, last name
Levi.
blanking, is a good Shazam. Yeah. So you're at this point where you have 3 actors who are all very charismatic. They've all played their characters very well. You found 3 directors that are different, and they just need to have a different style. And that's what I liked about the MCU, and that's what I think DC is doing very well right now. Is you go find somebody who, even though James Wan is a great horror director, like whatever, okay, now he's doing a superhero movie. Or you just find you find something that's different, and you make these people do things that are a little bit different, so that every movie doesn't feel like, okay, Zach, as even if you like the movies, so that it doesn't feel like Zack Snyder did everything. So you have your hand dipped over here, where maybe this one's a little bit more comedy, maybe this one's a little bit more of like serious. Like you find little and different people to do different movies, so that everything is not the same. You keep it contained, you keep it small. Even though some of these movies have like big budgets, I feel like the stories have been relatively small and contained, especially to Shazam as of late. Very small, contained plot. So you keep it within itself. You don't use crutches like, oh, this character's in this movie, let's all throw it together and then throw out a trailer and everybody will get excited for it. Don't use crutches. Make some good individual films. Find people that are different. Find actors that are different and charismatic, and then just go from there. But they're doing it well right now, so I hope that they can keep doing it. But we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm along the same lines a little bit. Recently they've done better. I really just want everything self-contained. Like, just give the directors their creativity. I know people hate Zack Snyder, but I really think if Zack Snyder would have just had his creative power and like they would have just let him make a trilogy, like don't think about the future, don't think about anything. I think it would have been good. And I think we're going to see with this Joker movie. Like, I do think Joker is going to be really good because Warner Brothers stayed out of it and basically just told Todd Phillips, like, make your movie, make it whatever you want.
That's
like,
been the problem.
Joker. Yeah. And if we could have a DC Elseworlds, like the comics type thing, where, Jake Gyllenhaal could be Batman in a Batman Superman movie. And then, Oscar Isaac could be Batman and like a detective Batman movie. And then you could have like a Batman Beyond. Like, I think everything should be self-contained and you should kind of have your own stories. And like, if you want them to tie in, like if you want to make a Wonder Woman Superman movie, like go for it. But like, don't be thinking about that. Cause I think, with Batman Superman, like, I think the first hour of Batman Superman was a good movie. But then once you throw in Doomsday, Wonder Woman, like Lex Luthor, like they threw
That's
in
what
all
I was
this
saying
stuff
earlier with the side plots. It's too much.
they didn't even have to be in it because they were like, I think Warner Brothers was like, hey, like you got to set up for Justice League 2 and like a Justice League Dark and a Lex Luthor movie. I think Zack Snyder was just kind of like fucked with it.
I love Watchmen. I think Watchmen's
Watchmen's
I would
great.
go as far as to say Watchmen's a brilliant film. I love it.
I love it.
I've told people who haven't seen it, I'm like, I really think it is one of the best superhero movies.
It's great. It's great.
It's really good.
They take all these nobodies and make them awesome.
Yeah. And Zack Snyder with like aesthetics and stuff, like he kills the aesthetic, like he always knows like the color scheme to use and everything else. So I think he kind of took a lot of the fall for the DCEU, but I don't think a lot of it was his fault.
It's just that too many cooks in the kitchen, really.
Yeah. And Suicide Squad, like you could make a great Suicide Squad movie if you weren't trying to force the Joker into it and force Batman into it. And don't get me started about the Suicide Squad movie. That was absolutely awful.
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm nervous.
Be like, it's not that bad. It just settles with you. And then you
How bad can it be?
And I like James Gunn, but I'm like, dude, what are you getting yourself into with this new Suicide Squad movie?
I would love to talk about that next week.
We can talk about that. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. So we can just talk about next. Like, what would you guys do with Batman right now?
I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and go. I want to see, like I said, with just the movies in general, just do something different and maybe give us the Batman movie that we haven't gotten yet, because everyone wants to see the dark one, the one where he's like you were saying, Max, earlier, like he's chiseled, he's old, like he's broken down. And I would love to see that movie, because even the animated ones where he's the old man, the broken down, like I like that. and it worked really well in Logan, and I think you could work it really well in Batman, like with just an older actor, get him chiseled, just do a movie like that, but make it dark, but you have to do it well, and that's like just going to be the big problem. I don't care where they go with Batman necessarily, but it has to be done well and with care. And if it's not, then that's going to be obviously a shit fest. So
yeah, to kind of go off that, I think Batman's obviously Batman's an acceptable dark character. I mean, he's got the dark background and everything, and so I think Batfleck could have worked really well. I just think it was just mishandled. I would love to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman, or even Javier Bardem, that kind of age range where they've seen some shit.
Yeah.
But it's just a shame. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was Thomas Wayne in Batman vs Superman.
Well, they could do the Flashpoint, where he becomes Batman. But I don't know.
Man, by the sound of it, looks like they're getting rid of everybody except for
Wonder Woman. Nolan said like something completely different, and I said the same thing. Like I just said, entirely different. Whether it's young or very old. Did you guys ever watch the Batman Beyond cartoons? Like those were so cool. Basically, you have this like 85-year-old Batman in a futuristic Gotham City, and he's this old grumpy dude, and you have Terry McGinnis. He was like a half Asian, half Irish Batman, and he was awesome. Like he was this 20-year-old Batman. But I would love to see that. I know they're making it a DC animated movie soon.
Those are usually pretty good.
They're really good.
They are good. They're super entertaining. They like get the tone perfectly. But I basically just said Oscar Isaac. I love Oscar Isaac. I'd love to see him as Batman. Or something like on the young side. Like I really like Timothée Chalamet. I think like if you had him as kind of like, a little like bitchy Batman who, Alfred
I would not like that.
Mentor him. Yeah.
Not like that.
But then I put because I've read some stuff on this, and I'm like, this would be fucking badass. Would be Clint Eastwood as like the Batman Beyond Batman.
Oh
my he's God. Just this like 90-year-old like grumpy dude in the Batcave, just like because in Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne's just like the dude at the computer, like telling Terry McGinnis where to go, and he just like hates society. And I'm like, dude, Clint Eastwood's got to get that role before he dies.
Blow away in the wind.
He would. But yeah, that just about wraps it up. Do you guys want to talk about a little bit what you're going to be seeing this week and everything else?
Yeah. Do you want to close with like a recommendation or something, a movie recommendation?
Yeah. I mean, so you guys really like Shazam, right?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
I loved it.
I thought it was great. To see it. Yeah. The sound was pretty good in IMAX.
I know Pet Sematary is supposed to be great. I'm really wanting to watch The Highwaymen on Netflix with Woody.
Is that the one
Kevin
with
Costner? Yeah, about Bonnie and Clyde. I love both of those guys.
Woody Harrelson's the man.
Yeah, he is. Woody's awesome.
Woody is awesome.
But I mean, next week, we'll talk about favorite albums. We'll talk about favorite actors. And we'll just get.
We can throw in directors.
Topics going on. Yeah, directors. And genres.
I'm sure Terminator trailer is going to drop.
Oh
soon
God.
Too. So I'm going to
Yikes.
Dude, I saw they released some pictures today. I'm nervous.
Bright.
Yeah, super bright. I saw they're rebooting the canon once again. I think it's only about the 7th time they've done that. So
do it.
It'll probably work this time. So
James Cameron said he's got confidence, so definitely trust that.
He said that about Genesis.
Yeah, he did. He said that about Terminator Salvation also.
It's gonna be great, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Give it to Mick G.
Yeah.
Director.
All right, but we can wrap this up here.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.